to people of other nations. If they had to be taken by warfare, the virgin women and the children were saved. 20. 10-15 All spoil in the form of goods or other items had to be cleansed. If of fabric, skin, or wood, it was to be washed. If metal, it was to be processed with fire. New 31. 20-23 Apostate cities. Israelite cities that turned apostate were to be completely annihilated with all their inhabitants. The spoil was to be burned in the public square, and the city was to be left a heap of ruins to time indefinite. 13. 12-17 Christ despoils Satan's house. When on earth, Jesus Christ despoiled or plundered the house of Satan by delivering those held in bondage to the demons, curing the afflictions the demons had brought upon them. Mount 12. 22-29 Also, when he ascended on high he carried away captives. He gave gifts in men. These he took away from Satan's control as gifts for the building up of his congregation. F4. 8, 11, 12 False religious spoilers. Christ declared the scribes and Pharisees to be, like robbers, full of plunder, evidently acquired by extortion from widows and other defenseless persons. And also because they kept the people in religious bondage by taking away the key of knowledge. Mount 23. 25. Lu 11. 52 The religious leaders of the Jews were likewise prominent in causing the plundering of the possessions of Christians. Heb 10. 34. Sponge. The absorbent, tough, elastic skeleton of certain aquatic animals found in abundance in the waters of the eastern Mediterranean Sea and elsewhere. Sponges were probably obtained in the past as today by divers who removed them by hand from underwater rocks. After the living animal died and decayed within its skeleton, the sponge was washed thoroughly until only the skeleton remained. The sponge's ability to absorb and release liquids made it commercially important in ancient times. While Jesus Christ was on the torture stake he was offered some sour wine contained in a sponge that was at the end of a reed. Mount 27. 48. Mr. 15. 36. Joe 19. 29. Spring. Sea fountain, spring. Sprout. Sea branch, sprout. Starkish station she's head of grain. One in the Christian congregation at Rome in about 56 CE, whom Paul speaks of as my beloved, and to whom he sends his greetings. Row 16. 9. Stacked. Stacked drops Heb. Na middle.af were one of the ingredients of the incense limited to sacred use. X 30. 34 The related verb form means drip. JG 5. For the Greek Septuagint rendered this word station middle.kte, meaning oil of myrrh, from the Greek verb stationzo, drip. Thus the Hebrew and Greek terms indicate that it was a balsam that drips from resinous trees. The Latin Vulgate rendered the word stacked. The specific tree yielding stacked is uncertain. Among the sources that have been suggested are Oriental sweet gum tree liquid Umber orientalis and the mastic Pistacia bush Pistacia lentiscus. Staff. Secremender's staff. Rod, staff. Stagheb. I middle.lil. An adult male deer. The red deer Cervus elaphus, the fallow deer Dama mesopotamica, and the roe deer Capreolus capreolus are three varieties of deer that were once native to Palestine. Being a chewer of the cud and a splitter of the hoof, the stag, according to the law, was acceptable for food if, as in the case of other creatures, its blood was poured out upon the ground. 12. 15, 16, 22, 23. 14. 4-6. 15. 22, 23 The flesh of the stag was included among the meats provided for King Solomon's table. 1 Kai 4. 22, 23. Other scriptural references to the stag are illustrative. The Shulamite compared her shepherd lover to a young stag and made allusion to the swiftness of this animal. K2. 9, 17. 8. 14 The stag's ability to climb steep places with ease is used to illustrate the complete cure of lame persons. Issa 35. 6. Compare Heb 12. 12, 13. O textoi acute miritra longo. Star 1032. The estimate that there are 100 billion galaxies throughout universal space. About 10,000-000,000 of these are within the range of modern telescopes. The vastness of the stellar creation adds infinite force and meaning to the Creator's statement at Isaiah 40. 26. Raise your eyes high up and see. Who has created these things? It is the one who is bringing forth the army of them even by number, all of whom he calls even by name. Due to the abundance of dynamic energy, he also being vigorous in power, not one of them is missing. Compare PS 147. 4. The reverend psalmist was led to say, when I see your heavens, the works of your fingers, the moon and the stars that you have prepared, what is mortal man that you keep him in mind, and the son of earthling man that you take care of him. PS 8. 3, 4. Age. The fact that rays from remote stars and galaxies millions of light years distant now reach giant telescopes on Earth indicates that the creation of these astral bodies occurred millions of years in the past, since otherwise these rays would not yet have reached our planet. Such creation is evidently included in the initial statement at Genesis 1. 1. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Verse 16 does not contradict this in saying that during the fourth creative day, or period, God proceeded to make the stars. The word make heb. A middle dot so does not mean the same as the word create heb. Be a middle dot ra. See creation. Number of stars. In addressing man, God used the stars to denote a countless number, comparable to the grains of sand on the seashore. GE 22. 17. 15. 5. X 32. 13. Compare NE 9. 23. NA 3. 15, 16. Heb 11. 12. Since the stars clearly discernible to the unaided eye number only a few thousand, this comparison was viewed by many in the past as out of balance. Yet today the evidence shows that the number of stars does indeed compare to all the grains of sand in all the earth. It is of interest to note that, while Moses spoke of Israel as having seen a certain fulfillment of this Abrahamic promise, the censuses taken of the population, as recorded in the Bible, never did include the total number in the nation. 1. 10. 10. 22. 28. 62. David is mentioned later as specifically refraining from taking the number of those from 20 years of age and under, because Jehovah had promised to make Israel as many as the stars of the heavens. 1 Ch 27. 23. Such concept of the innumerableness of these heavenly bodies distinguishes the Bible writings as unique when compared with contemporary views of ancient peoples. Orderly arrangement. Additionally, the orderliness of the arrangement of these celestial bodies is emphasized in various texts, references being made to statutes, regulations, and orbits courses, rs. J 31. 35-37. JG 5. 20. Compare Jude 13. The tremendous forces that determine the relative positions of certain stars according to physical laws are indicated by God's questions to Job. Can you tie fast the bonds of the Chimera constellation, or can you loosen the very cords of the Kazil constellation? Can you bring forth the Mazzaroth constellation in its appointed time? And as for the Ash constellation alongside its sons, can you conduct them? Have you come to know the statutes of the heavens, or could you put its authority in the earth? Job 38. 31-33. See Ash constellation. Kazil constellation. Chimera constellation. Mazzaroth constellation. Thus, the New Bible Dictionary states, we assert, then, that the Bible consistently assumes a universe which is fully rational, and vast in size, in contrast to the typical contemporary worldview, in which the universe was not rational, and no larger than could actually be proved by the unaided senses. Edited by J. Douglas, 1985, p. 1144. The Apostle Paul's expression concerning the difference between individual stars can be appreciated even more in the light of modern astronomy, O textoi acute miritra longo, star 1033 in Babylon, but was proved worthless at the time of her destruction. Isra 47. 12-15. Star seen after Jesus' birth. The astrologers from eastern parts, hence from the neighborhood of Babylon, whose visit to King Herod after the birth of Jesus resulted in the slaughter of all the male infants in Bethlehem, were obviously not servants or worshippers of the true God. Mount 2. 1-18. See astrologers. As to the star GR, a middle dots were seen by them. Many suggestions have been given as to its having been a comet, a meteor, a supernova, or, more popularly, a conjunction of planets. None of such bodies could logically have come to a stop above where the young child was, thereby identifying the one house in the village of Bethlehem where the child was found. It is also notable that only these pagan astrologers saw the star. Their condemned practice of astrology and the adverse results of their visit, placing in danger the life of the future Messiah, certainly allow for, and even make advisable, the consideration of their having been directed by a source adverse to God's purposes as relating to the promised Messiah. It is certainly reasonable to ask if the one who keeps transforming himself into an angel of light, whose operation is with every powerful work and lying signs and portents, who was able to make a serpent appear to speak, and who was referred to by Jesus as a manslayer when he began, could not also cause astrologers to see a star-like object that guided them first, not to Bethlehem, but to Jerusalem, where resided mortal enemy of the promised Messiah. 2 Co 11. 3, 14. 2th 9. GE 3. 1-4. Jo 8. 44. Figurative use. Stars are used in the Bible in a figurative sense, and in metaphors or similes to represent persons, as in Joseph's dream in which his parents were represented by the sun and moon, and his 11 brothers by 11 stars. GE 37. 9, 10 Job 38.